The success of last night, the second and fourth lines, would you consider keeping those guys together moving forward, at least on a short-term basis, do you think?
I think by productivity is their time on ice is going to work that way. We need results. If I'm not going to call them first, second, third, or fourth anymore, they're going to be by how they're playing, and that's where their time's going to go, because obviously you might have called the one line with Booth and Panic on your fourth line, but they were probably our best or second best line pretty much the whole night. And we had some results. We did some things we did to ourselves, and but we did some other things that we thought was positive. So we're working off of that, and we're working on the consistency. And when we get down to the third periods and we put an effort out to get ourselves against the best team in the West at this point, we're in 13 minutes to go with the lead. You have to be able to bear down on those situations.
Did you speak to Bernier before putting him in net, and how did that conversation go?
Well, it was his game. I mean, he came out. Reimer went in for 4 shots, did a good job, and he came back out ready to play. The trainer said that it was superficial, and he came back in ready to play. Right before that, he made big saves, and that's you have to respect that.
Superficial being obviously not too serious, but 12 stitches does sound like a lot. How did he look after the game? What kind of talk do you get from the trainers about
He's
that?
fine. It's just like any other cut that the guys would have. It's wasn't deep, and he came out ready to play.
So he'll be good to go moving forward?
Yeah. He'd be practicing today if we were on.
When it gets the post late there, the unbelievable save, did you start thinking, what do we do to piss off the hockey gods?
Well, I did actually say that to myself. I said I must have done something wrong, because we had some opportunities which would have separated that. When you got hit the post, and the one bank that went off his pads where Hutton turned around and banked that puck out of the midair with his stick. I mean, that was a pretty incredible save, and normally those things are going to go in as well. So we did a lot of things that allowed us more pucks to the net, more people at the net, and allowed us to get opportunities, and we still need results. And so, we're not going to let up, and we're not going to let it go, but I mean, it's still part of our game right now. Has to get better.
What do you tell the players in the locker room? I mean, how do you keep them motivated?
That's what we have to do. I mean, they're pros in there, and they have pride, and they have to rely on the pride, and they have to rely on the fact that we want to get this thing right, the ship righted, and put it going in the right direction. And it's the same thing. I mean, we've had a lot of these games here, and we should have won those games. They were close games. The game in New Jersey, the last game, they were up 1-0 with 3 minutes to go. They tied up on a long shift and a screen play, and they went in a shootout. I don't consider that a loss. I consider it a tie, but I mean, still, that should have been a 2-point win going out of there. We have to be stronger in those areas. There's lessons to be learned, but you and me are going to rate this based on results, and we have to get our wins on the board to start feeling like the process is going in the right direction.
What do you hope your first line is learning just from this
Who's
time?
the first line again? Remember what I just said a minute ago?
What do you hope a guy like Kessel then? There's Peter, if there's a decrease in ice time, do you hope for?
Why is there a decrease in ice time? I expect every one of the 4 lines to push themselves and go in that direction.
Okay. I guess my question is this, though. With a guy like Kessel, who's being paid $10 million this year, 3 goals in 21 games, do you hope that a decrease in ice time for him can kind of inspire him to live up to that contract a bit more? How do you see it?
Everyone is the same but different, and they haven't had decreased ice time. They're still playing 18+ minutes a game, and we need results out of them. We need results out of all the lines. They're getting a lot of power play time that we need results on the power play. So I just expect them to raise their level of game. I expect them to continue to push themselves. And I'm not going to speculate about what happens or doesn't happen if the results aren't there. I'm going to look at the group as a whole and make these decisions as we go. But there's nothing more on them than there is other than the fact that it carries more weight when you are in that position of, being considered your top liner, your top scorers, or your leaders in the team. They have to drive the team.
Is there, I guess, a trend toward maybe trying to pass your way inside the offensive zone as opposed to maybe dumping, pounding, and creating off the forecheck, especially with the Bozak line?
I think that depending on who you're playing and how they play, you have to play accordingly. And it's always better to have possession going into the zone and be able to create off of that. But if a team plays a certain way and doesn't allow that, you can't turn pucks over. I mean, turning pucks over was one of our problems last night. We turned the puck over on the power play. They went straight down and they scored a shorthanded goal. We turn pucks over at times and it changes momentum and it puts their momentum back on their team. So, we can't do that. That's the key. But always better to carry the puck in, especially at that line. They're a strong rush line, and they can create off of that on the rush. So, it's always better for them to be carrying the puck.
Is there frustration for coaching staff when the Winnix and Santorellis are driving this thing right now?
I think there's frustrations with us trying to get the wins when we see some good positive things. I see that's a positive thing for them to be doing it, and I trying to encourage the rest of them to follow suit. Why are they having some more success, and is it because of their work ethic? Is it because of a certain way of their playing, their energy? I want the others to continue to follow and to be encouraged by, the way they're playing. And Danny has been a very good penalty killer all year long, our best penalty killer all year long. And he's, he seems to be a little bit of a glue guy whenever he gets put on those lines, because he does forecheck and gets in and keeps possession and he goes to the front of the net. And we've been encouraging that's a part of the game where we want to do more of, spend more time going to the net and stopping at the net and getting more shots and not hesitating and putting it at the net from the D quicker, and getting goals more that way, and getting goals just like we thought we had in the third period when it went off his pants and was going in the net, and Hutton made a great save.
10 in a row, what do you say to fans?
I think we're trying to get this ship right and go in the right direction. We appreciate the fans and obviously appreciate their support, and we know that they're as frustrated as we are at times, but we're going to keep going and keep pushing.
Is this bewildering at all to you? That you couldn't have envisioned this? I would think.
No, I'm pretty. I don't know if shocked or surprised is the right word, but I haven't really seen this before. But that doesn't mean that we can't keep going. Bowing your head or putting your lip out or feeling sorry for yourself has no success rate, zero. So we have to, push ourselves, push our approach with how we want to do things, continue to try to make a difference, find different ways to do things. It's like when you get down to playoff hockey, you score a lot of goals early in the year by passing the puck through the slot and passing areas, and as the year goes on, playoff goals are usually putting pucks at the net. So we've been trying to take that approach a little bit. So you just got to find ways to get ourselves into it, and stay into it, and have the commitment level. And it's not always easy, but we're going to keep going.
Psychologically, knowing the trade deadline is coming and there's always so much chatter coming from our end of it, is that how you evaluate the guys, just looking at them and your coaching staff and saying who is still buying in, who is not putting their head down, not putting their foot despite all the chatter?
Well, I think that we have to hold them accountable to their game, and with that chatter or with the talking on the different stations or news networks that are talking about trades and so forth, I think that's a regular occurrence here, and you have to stay focused on what you can control, and that's my message to them: is what you can control is how you show up here every day, and are you prepared to work, are you prepared to start and to play games that get us back on. And we know our fans and the media are frustrated, and we are too, but we're going to continue to push as hard as we can.